Years ago, I was crashing my way through a graphic design course. At that time, I was still wrestling with who I was sexually, gender-wise, and all of that. And there was a guy who was very attractive. And I'd learned to, I don't know, tone down the gay, to kind of self-censor, especially when I was around straight guys. And then one day I decided, no, I'm just going to be myself, and I was. And I don't remember what I said, but it was something stupid and funny. And he starts laughing, and he points at me, and he says, never change. Why am I telling you this? One of the things we forget in the rights movement is that rights by themselves cannot make a moment like that happen. You have to go beyond rights. You have to go beyond the right to be right. And you have to have a space where there's the risk that somebody can judge you, and that means they also have to be comfortable with the way they're living their rights. Last week, we discussed how rights balance against one another. This week, we're going to talk about how rights are abused and how that affects all of us, and how that can prevent moments like those from happening. This is the warning we see in that story titled The Boy Who Cried Wolf. There is a shepherd. He looks after sheep. Every now and again he says that there's a wolf, and the whole village comes out looking for this wolf. And after several times and there's no wolf, they start thinking, okay, we're never taking this kid seriously again. Then one day there is a wolf and he cries, wolf, and the village is like, nah, we've fallen for this before, you're on your own. That's what happens when people cry wolf, when they play the victim card, when they aren't actually being victimized. Maybe there's just a misunderstanding that needs to be cleared up. Maybe they are just forgetting that their rights can come in conflict with other people's rights, or their rights need to be balanced by responsibility. It's a situation that's being described as the oppressed becoming the oppressor. It doesn't look like the person's becoming an oppressor. What it looks like is the person is just testing the boundaries now and again. It leads to an Animal Farm scenario. You may have heard a story titled Animal Farm by the writer named George Orwell. Animal Farm is a story about animals at a farm who overthrow the human rulers, and then they replace them with animal rulers. The promise of this revolution is that with the humans gone, the animals will be equal. The animal rulers, however, start becoming like the human rulers, and so the question becomes, well, when's this equality going to kick in? And then the animal rulers say, wait for it, they're like, listen, hear it out, hear it out. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. And this, they buy this for a while. If you think about Africa, one of the things that comes to mind is dictators. Well, where did they come from? They began as liberation fighters. They began as some of your friends in the LGBTI+ movement, as social justice warriors. They were saying all the right things. They were doing all the right things. Everyone was supporting them. But then they leveraged that status of victim in the name of fighting the oppressor to become the oppressor. They became the monsters they were fighting. Today, those liberation struggles no longer have the social support they once did. People are cynical about them. So that's what I'd like you to discuss in class. How do you change something like that? How do you prevent something like that from happening again? How do you protect the legitimacy and integrity of a struggle against injustice without falling into the same mistake of the oppressed becoming the oppressor? Is it possible for someone's abuse of a right, of playing the victim card, to foreshadow a moment where they're like the animal rulers in Animal Farm?